Welcome, everybody, to Survive and Advance on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your co-host for Survive and Advance, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host. He's an Indianapolis Colts fan who's really happy. Help me welcome to the show, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Mike, really, I'm feeling very blue today. I'm feeling very blue. As in Colts blue. And after the game, I sat down and I turned on a movie and I watched Apollo 13. Because you know what? Houston, you have a problem.
I know. There was no moon landing. No moon landing at all. So, all right.
There's a lot of luck in the game.
Steve obviously got no sleep last night trying to come up with something like that.
Introduce Anthony real quick so I can ask Anthony a question. Introduce Anthony.
Okay. And next up, he's Jerry Jones's towel boy. Help me welcome to the show, Anthony Cervino. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Anthony is also the host of the FF Face-Off with Mike Hoff and Dan Siegel. You can hear that on The Grueling Truth, or you can find it on YouTube. Go ahead, Steve.
And that's a great show. Much better than our show, truthfully.
You've never even listened to his show. You don't listen to a fantasy football show.
I don't know how to play fantasy football. Although I did. No, listen to me. I did finish second in my pool. I was 26 points down 4 weeks ago. I lost by 2 points to the guy who ended up winning it.
What's the difference if you lose by 26 or lose by 2?
I won four of the last 5 weeks of my picks because of this show. It just made me smarter. Anyway, Anthony, what are your plans for next weekend?
I'll be watching playoff football.
Ask me what my plans will be.
What are your plans going to be?
I'll be watching playoff football. Mike, what are your plans?
I will be in Tennessee watching my sons play in the Under Armour All-American game.
And checking the wires to see who the new, how soon they hire Hugh Jackson as the new head coach of the Bengals.
No, I don't really care because I know whoever they get, it'll be like the last guy in line.
Don't tell me you don't care.
I don't care.
Don't say that. Say anything you want to say. Don't say that.
I don't care because I know what's going to happen, and it's not going to be good no matter who it is because it's Mike Brown. He's an idiot. But
all right, guys. I woke up this morning in Los Angeles at about 5:30.
Let me guess, it was 80 degrees and sunny, and your dogs were swimming in the pool.
Yeah, they're doing that right now, as a matter of fact. So, sorry. And we're going to Malibu Beach here and hanging out with the Hollywood stars on New Year's.
No, you're not. You may go stalk them. You may go stalk them, but you're not hanging out with them.
Well, I call it hanging out. They call it stalking. What the hell?
Right.
You say tomato, I say tomato. Anyway,
but you couldn't spell it either way.
Rooms, guys. How many coaches? I got 9 coaches gone. Anthony, talk to us. Run it down. Go through it, Anthony.
Well, we had 8 coaches fired so far this season, and it started with Hugh Jackson and Mike McCarthy. But between last night and this morning, the Buccaneers moved on from Dirk Cutter. The Broncos moved on from Vance Joseph. Dolphins moved on from Adam Gase. Steve Wilkes is one and done with the Cardinals. The Jets moved on from Todd Bowles. And, of course, the Bengals and Marvin Lewis. So very busy Black Monday.
Well, McCarthy was gone too. Right? McCarthy
I mentioned McCarthy and Hugh Jackson.
Yeah. Now, Mike, what do you want to say?
About what? You're asking the questions. That's a horrible question. What do you want to say? Jeez.
Well, I'm giving you a chance to comment on the fact that I asked a question of Black Monday. Talk about it. What's your thoughts on everything?
What about it? I think everybody that got fired should have got fired.
Okay.
But I also think
Now,
I think John Elway should have been fired, too, in Denver, because I think that was the bigger problem than Vance Joseph. I don't think Vance Joseph ever had a fair chance there, because Elway, he's basically kind of just a drunk that hangs out and screws the team up now.
How many Super Bowls did he win there? 2, 3, 4? I don't know.
He won 2 as a player. Okay. So,
Right.
it was just, yeah.
Okay. So I'll just go to this right here if you want to talk about it. NFL Network today was trying to make an issue of the fact that the majority or an overwhelming majority of the coaches were fired were minority, African-American minority coaches. What do you guys think?
I think everybody that got fired should have got fired. I don't think it matters. They try to make it into a racial issue because they're trying to get
ratings. And the NFL Network did do that this morning. They did do that, yeah.
Yeah, because they're trying to get ratings. So pretty soon they'll start talking about, you need to have a woman head coach in the NFL too. It's all just stupid. It's to get ratings. It doesn't matter. There is nothing to see here because everybody that got fired should have got fired, whether they were black, white, green, or whatever.
I would agree. Anthony, any comments?
Yeah, I agree too. I think it's a non-issue, but guys like Vance Joseph and Steve Wilkes, I'm not sure they should have even had the job in the first place.
Well, they got the job because of the Rooney Rule, and that's the problem with the Rooney Rule. You make a team interview guys even if they're not qualified, and there's pressure there that you have to have so many of some persuasion or whatever, and it's stupid. I mean, you need to hire the man who is the best.
Who's best for the job?
Suited for the job. Yeah. So,
Mike, it's 2018. I think the Rooney Rule, I don't think it needs to be there because I believe everybody is getting their fair shot, whether it's quarterbacks, head coaches. It's a pretty even league in terms of race and color.
Yeah, but don't you think that now with the Rooney Rule that maybe people are being left out of the process that should be in because they have to interview somebody just because of the color of their skin?
But there's no limit on how many people you interview, right?
There's no limit. But the other thing is this. If I'm black, I don't really want to be interviewed because I'm black. I mean, I want to be interviewed because I can coach.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
I'm sure people are split on the Rooney Rule.
I can dispute that, Mike, but I won't because I don't want to do it. The point is that you're white and you make that comment. You're not black and make that comment.
I don't care what color I am to make that comment because the problem is this. The problem is that somebody would say you're white. It shouldn't matter. The problem, the reason you have racism is because people separate themselves.
Because of this. Exactly right. Because I turn on the NFL
don't give me
Network
that shit.
At 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm just talking.
No, you said you were going to dispute it, which means you disagreed with me.
Well, I'm just going to say I'm going to present the other side. I'm going to,
There is no
the
other
fact
side.
of the matter is,
You know what? This is the thing. We will never have a racial-free society until a guy like Tony Dungy can win a Super Bowl and somebody doesn't bring up the fact that he's a black man that won a Super Bowl.
He's a black coach.
Tony Dungy was just a man that won the Super Bowl. Go ahead.
All right. Anthony, are you capable at this point in time? I mean, you're the most intelligent person here. Well, no, I'm the least intelligent. Let me rephrase the question. Can you run down the teams and talk about replacements, the potential replacements for each team? Are you prepared to kind of address that in some fashion?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can make an honest go out of it. The Cleveland Browns, I'm hearing Mike McCarthy. He's going to be in the mix there, but I think the Browns are going to be one of the more attractive head coaching places when you think about Baker Mayfield and all the talent they have because they're a really talented football team. And as opposed to years past where the Browns, nobody really wanted to go to the Browns, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like Mike McCarthy would be a pretty good hire. And Greg Williams, to me, he should get a fair shake at it, but I don't think he is. All the reports are saying he's far from a lock to be retained.
Mike, rebuttal?
About what? He didn't really say anything that I could rebut. I think Greg Williams should be the head coach.
Do you agree?
I think he deserves it. And it's a joke because, once again, we're going to retread somebody that's been a failure. And he has. I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers. He won a Super Bowl like a decade ago. What's he done since? He's failed. And my question is, in Green Bay, are they going to let Aaron Rodgers have a say in who the coach is going to be? Because if they do, that's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard of.
I think the Packers are going to have they have their hands tied because a lot of people are starting to see Aaron Rodgers really emerge into a diva, and he's always kind of been a diva, but it's really happening this season. A lot of the rumors and reports coming around the Mike McCarthy firing. And if Aaron Rodgers is really the LeBron of the NFL, then Aaron Rodgers is going to have a say on who they bring in as a head coach. And I think you need to bring in somebody who's not going to get in Rodgers' way. You don't want to have any more. You don't want to have any more controversy when Aaron Rodgers is probably going to do what he wants to do anyway. It's either you bring in a coach with a backbone.
You need to get rid of him then.
You either have to bring in a coach with a backbone that doesn't care, or you have to bring in somebody who's going to cater to Aaron Rodgers, whether that's a defensive guy or.
Yeah, but you can't because Aaron Rodgers has probably got 3 years left at best. This is not a Tom Brady situation. The guy has been hurt for a lot of the last few years. I'm pretty sure he played himself yesterday when he got hurt during the game. And when I look at this, though, the thing that bothers me the most is I think the perfect guy in Green Bay, and I don't know if they could get him or not, is Pat Fitzgerald, the Northwestern coach. If you get Pat Fitzgerald, any NFL team that gets Pat Fitzgerald to leave Northwestern or David Shaw to leave Stanford will win a Super Bowl within 5 years of that hire. I don't know if anybody can get him away, but those two guys are guys that are quality coaches that are better than 90% of the coaches in the NFL. And I know it's a different game, but not with those two guys. And the big thing is this. When you look at what they put out as the guys that are most likely to get jobs, we got Jim Caldwell, Mike McCarthy, Josh McDaniels, Chuck Pagano. I mean, why do we retread guys? Pagano was a failure. He was an unmitigated failure. His one good year is when Bruce Arians coached the team for him. Mike McCarthy has failed with Aaron Rodgers. Josh McDaniels, why the hell would anybody want to hire him? Because he may just decide 2 days later to just go back to New England.
Thank you. We're happy. Hey, we're happy.
But I mean, when you look at it, we just retread the same names over and over again. To me, the guys that are the best hires are the two I just said. I think Eric Bieniemy would be a great head coach. He's the offensive coordinator with the Chiefs right now. I would like to see Vic Fangio from the Bears defensive coordinator get a shot. Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans.
I heard that the Colts defensive coordinator's name's coming up now too. I don't know. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, but he shouldn't. It's Eberfleur. I don't like him. I'm just bringing up guys I like.
I just asked that question. I saw his name come up on Twitter today.
I'm just bringing up guys I like. Another guy I like, and I think the Dallas Cowboys are really screwing this up right now. Because I think the Dallas Cowboys need to fire Jason Garrett, and their next head coach needs to be Chris Richard, who is the defensive back coach with the Cowboys. I think that he's the best coach on their staff, and I think he can do some great things there. I think Dave Taub, the special teams coordinator from Kansas City, would be a good coach. And outside of that, that's about it. But I think the Cowboys would be better off with their DB's coach being the head coach.
Anthony, you're Cowboys. You're the Cowboys guy. Is Garrett? Are you good with Garrett as a coach there?
No.
You know,
your team's winning.
Listen, since they've won 3 out of the past 5 division titles, and Garrett's record in those 3 winning seasons is 35-13.
Yeah.
And
this
is
doing the
seasons
playoffs.
Well, he lost by 2 plays. The 2 playoff games he lost because he won one.
Yeah.
And then he lost the one with the Dez catch, which was a fluky play. And then he lost one with the Aaron Rodgers.
No,
to Jared
don't give me
Cook.
that shit. Because right before the Dez catch,
2 fluky
there was
plays.
Wait a second. Because if you also switch the Calvin Johnson call, they're not even in Green Bay.
That's fair, but still, it's still a couple of plays.
It's still a couple of plays. He still loses.
Wait a second.
You lose close
those
football
type
games.
Of balls
okay.
The reason why the Patriots won so much. The
What?
Patriots always got those bounces. The Patriots
wait a
always
second.
got those calls.
I hate to tell you this, but you get bounces because you deserve the bounces. I mean, every great team, the Green Bay Packers with Lombardi got bounces.
Of course.
There is no such thing as luck.
Well, now it seems like the ball is bouncing in Garrett's favor.
Well, no, wait.
Cowboys' favor.
Wait a second.
wait.
How is it
There's
bouncing in their
Andrew
favor
Luck. There's Andrew
because he
Luck.
won the division? I mean, I don't understand.
Take a game like yesterday.
What about it? Who gives a shit about yesterday?
I have nothing but praise for Jason Garrett for doing what he did and
what he
playing
did was
his
stupid.
starters.
Yeah.
Going out
What would
with
you have
games.
said if Dak Prescott got hurt?
I would be killing him for it, but it's just like
Okay,
every
so
other
then
call.
it's not a good decision. What it is he did something and he got away with it.
Are good or bad. It all depends.
No. And that
It all
decision
only
by
matters
you,
is
so
the end
you're
result.
telling me when this game started, you were fine with Dak Prescott starting the game.
I was uneasy about it.
Yeah, so it's a stupid move.
I think it was a move to where if Dak played bad and the Dallas, they lost, I think it would kill their confidence. But with no Ezekiel Elliott, they had a couple of guys out in the offensive line, a couple of defensive starters out. The defense didn't play well. There was no Zeke. Dak had some pressure, and Dak overcame all those objections. Dak found a new weapon in Blake Jarwin. Dak had a pass to someone else other than
Blake
Amari.
Jarwin.
Hang on.
Yeah, because the New York
Hang
Giants
on.
defensive secondary
Guys,
is really
wait,
good.
Wait. Let me reel this back in. Because that's going to be part 2 of our discussion here today.
Why? This is part of the discussion. It's about
I want to
coaching.
get to the coaches.
This is about the
We're going
coaches.
to talk about players playing.
We are
players
talking
not
about the
playing.
coaches.
No, we're going to get to the coaches first. So
We are talking.
I'm
We
asking
are
questions
talking
here.
about the coaches. That was a coach's decision,
No. Jets.
and it was
Anthony,
stupid.
what do the Jets do? Anthony? That's big media. They need a star to coach in New York. You got to be a bigger than life figure to coach in New York or LA.
I think the
Who the Jets go for?
just like I said about the
You
Browns,
got a great young quarterback.
I think the Jets should throw a lot of money at Mike McCarthy and bring him in to groom Sam Darnold. Mike McCarthy already knows how to deal with these diva quarterbacks just in case Darnold turns out
Why
to
he
be
got
one. I
fired.
think Mike McCarthy's the way to go.
If he knew how to deal with the diva quarterback, he'd still be in Green Bay.
I mean,
It's going to be Green Bay. But
You
Anthony,
think so?
I got to agree with Mike on
It
that.
got-
but
it got
it's gonna be
stale.
Green Bay.
they got
You
stale.
can't handle a diva quarterback.
Oh man,
And
I don't
New
ever
York will make
remember
you
a
a deep
time where I
quarterback.
thought Mike McCarthy was a great football coach.
I don't
He won a
either.
Super
I'm
Bowl,
sorry,
but-
Anthony. I can't buy that one from you, buddy. I like your input, but that's Mike. I'm on your camp on that one.
So
No,
you guys
McCarthy'd
are
be
down
terrible
on Mike
for New York.
McCarthy.
Yeah, he's a poor football
No,
coach.
I'm
He
down
makes
on
bad
his
He's
decisions.
going to get a coaching job. Mike McCarthy will get a head coaching
So,
job.
you know what? This is the
So-
thing. Follow me here. There's 32
He's
coaches
a
in the
great player.
NFL, and about 5 of them deserve the jobs.
Yeah.
Everybody's
probably
going off
accurate.
whose daddy was who had a job here. It's
Uh-huh.
basically the NFL is an incestuous league, which means, as soon as, perfect example, Hugh Jackson gets fired in Cleveland. Well, then he goes back to Cincinnati immediately. In no
Yeah.
other line of work could you be as big a flaming failure as Hugh Jackson and get a job a week or two later.
But, the question was, what rumors, what news am I hearing? And I'm hearing Mike
Well, no,
McCarthy
I'm
for the
asking
Jets.
your opinion.
Yeah,
not
but
rumors.
your opinion
I mean,
was you thought it would be a good idea for the Jets.
I
It's
do
not
think
a
it's a
good
good
idea.
idea for Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Mike, who goes to New York?
I don't care. It doesn't matter because chances are it's going to be somebody that fails, and Mike McCarthy would be the biggest failure in history in New York because the man has no personality. He couldn't take the heat of Green Bay. I mean, if you ever watch these interviews after he lost, he couldn't handle it there. New York is going to be Green Bay 1 billion times. And if he couldn't handle it in New York, how the hell is he going to handle, or how's he going to handle, or if he couldn't handle it in Green Bay, how could he handle it in New York?
So does Mike McCarthy become the Kirk Cousins of the of coaches? He gets $84 million. He obviously put him in Cleveland.
He'll get a job somewhere. He'll get a job somewhere.
For a big money, is he? Oh, he's going to be overpaid no matter what, like Kirk
All right.
Cousins, right?
Do you want to
84
know
million.
exactly? I think the best hire in New York is Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is the one that has basically built Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was a guy with huge flaws at the start of last year when he didn't play. Bieniemy is the one that basically took over there. Bieniemy has been with Andy Reid for 6 years. Andy Reid is a guy that fails in the playoffs. But offensively, Andy Reid does stuff nobody else does offensively. He's the most imaginative coach there is until you get to the playoffs. Eric Bieniemy has worked under that for 6 years. Eric Bieniemy would be absolutely perfect for Sam Darnold. And Eric Bieniemy is a guy with a little bit of personality that I think can handle the heat of New York.
Anthony?
I think the Jets are going to bring in somebody with a splash, somebody that comes with a big name, instead of probably making a better decision and bringing in Bieniemy, because I like the Bieniemy point that you're making.
And this is the thing. The New York Jets have always done that, and that's why they haven't been to a Super Bowl since Super Bowl III. If you look at it, when they want to make a splash, I mean, they hired Lou Holtz and let him come in and run the option. With Joe Namath being the option quarterback and about getting killed. It's what they've always done. I mean, they had a guy like Joe Walton, who was a very successful coach there,
the 21
and they fired him.
Got Namath killed. The 21 club about got Namath killed. Bachelor's 3 and the 21 club. I've been to both bars, so that about got him killed. So,
all right. So what next, Steve?
All right. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the Jets are going to go for it. Personally, I'm the dumbest of the three of us here.
Yeah, we know.
They should have stayed with Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles should have stayed there.
No, they shouldn't have. Todd, yeah, I think it's possible Todd Bowles.
He's going to land on his feet, too.
I think Todd Bowles could get a head coaching job. I mean, I know they don't bring it up, but I think there's places Todd Bowles could be successful. Yeah. I think he did a decent job in New York. I think New York, the biggest problem is the front office. And in the end, no matter who goes to New York, that's going to be the problem.
Anthony, Broncos.
Well,
you got to deal with John Elway. Now.
You do. I'm seeing rumors that Adam Gase would be in the mix for the Broncos job, which I would hate. I'm not an Adam Gase guy. I don't understand all the hype around him. I think that would be a disaster. If anything, John Elway, I agree with your point before, John Elway should not be an NFL GM.
No. But
he's John Elway, great player.
Yeah. And, I mean, the fact that Adam Gase's name would even be brought up is just stupid. He completely failed at Miami. I mean, I'm sorry, but
do you think it's true, Mike? You think it's true?
Oh, I think it's very possible. I mean, to me,
there you go.
If I'm in Denver, I take Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I don't see why we just keep recycling failures.
It is amazing that we do that. All right, so we don't have a solid name in Denver.
I just gave
somebody's got to deal with John Elway. All right. All right, Mike. Here's the big one. What are the Bungles going to do?
I don't care. I mean, there's no reason for me to worry.
You gotta care. That's
no,
your team.
Because this is the thing. This is the thing. I don't care what any team does because I can't affect what they do. I can't affect what the Cincinnati Bengals do. If I could, Marvin Lewis would have been fired in 2008. So, Eric Bieniemy should be the head coach, but he won't be. Well, maybe he will because he's young. Maybe he'll do what he's told and he'll work for cheap. You never know. But my guess is this. Vance Joseph will be the head coach.
Who?
Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph. So he'll go from Denver to Cincinnati.
Yeah. And the thing
is, that's a downgrading lifestyle.
This is the thing. I don't like it just because Vance Joseph was a loser and Cincinnati's full of losers. I'd like to get somebody that's won before, but I'm not going to get that. So go ahead.
Anthony, what do the Bengals do?
You know, I think the Bengals, correct me if I'm wrong, they like to hire defensive coaches or offensive coaches?
No,
defensive,
the Bengals like to hire coaches that they have ties to in their family. Marvin Lewis was the first time they ever went outside of that. I think this is a team that needs an offensive-minded coach.
What about Todd Monken from the Buccaneers? I'm seeing that he's going to draw several teams who are going to have interest in him.
Well, all I want for the Cincinnati Bengals is a coach that will come in and not take any shit, because the biggest problem is they're a bunch of babies. They've been babied by Marvin Lewis, who doesn't – he just stands there with a stupid smile on his face. And I want a Forrest Gregg. You know, Forrest Gregg in 1980 came into a team that was really talented and shook them up. Now, Homer Rice was the coach before Forrest Gregg. Homer Rice was a much better coach than Forrest Gregg ever could have been. But Homer Rice did not have the personality. They walked all over him. This team needs somebody that comes in and doesn't take any crap. So until they get that, we're going to get what we got.
What if Zimmer became available?
That would be awesome. I love Mike Zimmer. So hopefully he gets fired. I know I love Mike Zimmer, and hopefully he gets fired doesn't really go together in a sentence. But I hope he gets fired because then he ends up back here. And in 2013, I was screaming for anybody that could hear that they should fire Marvin then and hire Mike Zimmer before they lose him. I think Zimmer's a hell of a coach. I don't think Zimmer's the one that made the decision to sign Kirk Cousins.
No, not at all. But because of how the Vikings played, Zimmer is getting thrown in the mud a little bit, and I would like to see him go back to Cincinnati myself.
I would too.
He's a Dallas guy at first.
This is the thing. I don't think the first coaching job he had was in Dallas, though. Because he was actually, I think, in Cincinnati before Dallas.
Really? I did not know that.
And then he went back to Dallas, and then he came back. I'm not sure. I'm not like a Mike Zimmer history buff, but...
No, Cowboys were his first pro coaching job. He started in Missouri back in '79.
Well, you're Googling stuff. That's unfair. I would never do that.
You got to have the information, of course.
You're right, yeah. All right. Cards. Anthony, cards. What are the Cardinals going to do? They got a good young quarterback.
Well, no, I'm not too sold on Josh Rosen. I know he was in a really terrible circumstance, but of all the rookies that got significant time, Rosen didn't fare very well, and it's not like he didn't have weapons around him. But I think the Cardinals, that's going to be a tough coaching job to attract anybody. I'm not too sold on the Cardinals with Josh Rosen. Like I said, it's only been this season that we've seen him, but I don't think they're going to attract a big name. I think they're going to get stuck with bringing in another, so-so personality from around the league.
Okay.
But I'm not seeing any coaches being tied to them or any rumors right now.
It's the worst job out there.
Jim Caldwell could end up in Arizona or Pagano. And it could be one of those guys trying to get back into the league.
Yeah, and then they'll be gone in a year or two because this is a team that's going to have to draft a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
The Cardinals?
Yeah.
Not sold on Rosen either.
So you're not sold on Rosen. You guys are not sold on Rosen.
Josh Rosen is a shit quarterback. He needs to be gone.
Right.
And the fact that they even drafted him, whoever drafted Josh Rosen, they should have been fired immediately. Because if you watch him, his feet are bad. He has no feel for the pocket. He doesn't read a defense well. And plus, he's a dude that is so aloof, and he's not an NFL quarterback, and he never will be. No matter who coaches him.
Very good. All right, Jags coach, Maroney's, he's okay?
Yeah, he's safe.
Yeah.
He's safe?
It's amazing.
Leonard Fournette might not be safe.
Who?
Leonard Fournette might not be safe.
Yeah, you can't piss off Tom Coughlin.
I defer to you guys because you're the geniuses on football.
Well, that's a situation.
I think that the Jaguars are a quarterback away from being a very good football team.
No, they're not. Not as long as Doug Marone's.
Are they? Okay, all right.
Doug Marone sucks. This is the thing. This is a guy who overvalues himself. In Buffalo, he goes 9-7, does a great job, and then basically quits because he thinks he's going to get a better job, and then he has to wait a couple of years. I'm not a big Doug Marone fan. I don't like anybody.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Hang on.
Don't hang on.
I gotta let my dogs in the... No, I gotta let my dogs
sound like the Indy Sports
My
beat.
wife won't open the door. All right, next team, Packers. Who are the Packers going to get?
Pat Fitzgerald should be the guy to go after. It sounds like the guy they're going after. If they get him, they're in good shape.
Anthony?
I'm not sure.
You got a diva. You got a big-time diva.
I think they bring in somebody on the defensive side of the football. I'm seeing Brian Flores from the Patriots. He already has an interview request with the Dolphins. What about somebody like that in Green Bay, and then bring in a coordinator to deal with Rodgers?
Well, because Flores will be a horrible choice. I mean, I don't know that anybody's noticed this, but the Patriots' defense was terrible last year. And that guy got a job in Detroit and won 5 games this year. And it's not very good this year. And it's probably going to be the death of that team this year. I don't know what makes anybody think that a Bill Belichick assistant is going to be successful in the NFL. Hell, if you look at it, Nick Saban was a Bill Belichick assistant, and he failed in the NFL. He's been a great college coach, though.
Right. Most of the Bill Belichick coaching tree has been failures in the NFL. You're right, except, Vrabel, he flashed a little bit this year, but it's only been a couple of games. And then O'Brien in with the Texans. He's probably been the most successful one.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I like him. Those two are good. I think what it tells you is this. I think Belichick has his hand in everything that is done there. I don't think there is an offensive or defensive game plan that doesn't get his approval. And I don't think there's a play call that doesn't have to go through his headset and him let it go. So,
Mike, you brought up Chris Richard before. I'm seeing that the Jets are requesting an interview with Chris Richard after the Dallas Cowboys are eliminated from the playoffs or the season ends.
So it'll be next week. Yeah, I like Chris Richard. And if I'm Jerry Jones, as soon as you get eliminated next week, I would hire Chris Richard immediately.
Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. You watch.
Yeah.
That
all right.
dangerous.
Real quick. I forgot about this. And I just got a message from Kurt in Knoxville, Tennessee, who said that he listened to the show Friday and he heard Steve Risley predict Notre Dame to beat Clemson, and he wants to know why Risley is not sang the Notre Dame fight song yet the way he promised if they lost.
I will do that on. Yeah, that will come on. Yeah, I will do that. I will do that. I owe that to everybody, and I'm sorry you're going to hear it. It's going to be ugly, and it's a tragedy, but I will do it. So give me a chance here. Let's get through this coaching stuff and get through some other issues we got to deal with first. Then we'll get to the stuff. All right, let's go on.
Wait a second. I got another message from Andrew Merriam from Columbus, Ohio, that says he's tuned in just to hear Risley sing also.
Oh, God, this is not going to be good. I'll do it. All
right, end of the show, guys. Just hang on with us, and you'll get to hear Steve Risley.
Hang on, I got to pull up the Notre Dame fight song. I got to pull the words up.
I know the words of the Notre Dame fight song.
Situation. Anthony, Tampa Bay. You got a diva quarterback there too.
No, you don't. He's just not very good.
Who?
He's not a
He's
diva.
still a diva.
He's just inconsistent.
He's a diva.
How's he a diva?
Anthony.
I don't know if Winston's a diva. I think he just likes the ladies a little too much. But
in LA, that makes you a diva.
No, it doesn't. It just makes you. You know what? In California, it just makes you weird that you like the ladies if you're a man. Go ahead.
It does. I tell you, it does. You got it. I'm Midwest. I'm Indiana. You come out here, it's like I don't get this place at all. But that's okay. It's California. They have good beaches. 20 minutes from my house. The Rose Bowl's 20 minutes from my house. My wife's trying to get me to go to the damn parade in the morning. I'm like, crap. We almost walked there. But it's like, yeah. All right, Tampa Bay. Anthony.
On Tampa, I'm not seeing any coaching rumors, but what's a little bit surprising with that job is that they retained their general manager, Jason Licht. He could bring in somebody familiar to him to succeed Dirk Cutter, but I think that job is really wide open.
I got one for you. I don't think it's wide open. I think this is where Bruce Arians ends up.
That was my next question.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Arians and Licht are friends.
This is the first time you guys have mentioned Bruce Arians in this whole scheme of talking
because
about
I don't
coaching.
think there's too many places he will go. He knows Licht, he would go there. He's already said he would go to Cleveland. So.
Yeah, that's the only two spots he said he would go to is Cleveland and most recently now the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Is that because of the quarterbacks? I mean,
no, it's because of Jason Licht. With Tampa Bay, it's Jason Licht. Okay. Also, I think this. I don't think Jameis Winston is as bad as everybody thinks he is. I think the biggest problem with him is since he's been there, they've had defensive coordinators that were head coaches. and that's usually not productive for a young quarterback. I mean, Randall Cunningham to me would have probably won 3 or 4 NFL MVPs if he would have been stuck with with Buddy Ryan, if you know what I mean. So I think that stunted his growth. I don't think that Ryan actually gave 2 shits about the offense when he was in Philadelphia, and I think that ended up killing him. But I think Winston could be a decent quarterback. It's not like Josh Rosen where I say he sucks. I think it's possible.
And they have it. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you finish your statement.
I was going to say there's a ton of talent in Tampa Bay. They have some money. All they really need to do is bring in the head coach and a running back, and that team could be contending in the NFC South.
Yeah, because most people thought last year they had a shot to make the playoffs, and this year people still thought there was a little bit of a chance, but they don't have the talent there that they did have. But Steve.
Okay, so but Arians is coaching next year in the NFL. You think? You guys both think that?
Not necessarily, but I think he wants to, because the other thing that I've been told is he actually, or the one thing I saw was the reason this came out about him and Licht was that he had sent like Adam Schefter a message or something saying he'd be interested in Tampa Bay too. That tells me he wants to get back in, because he's the one that's sending out the feelers for himself. So I think he wants to get in on this. So I would think there's a good chance, and I don't know that there's too many guys better qualified than Arians.
Yeah, I mean, he was a loss when the Colts lost him. I mean, he masterminded the Colts' the last great run of Colts.
Yeah, but let's face it, Steve. If they'd have kept him there, you still probably have the Andrew Luck injury, and he probably gets fired anyways.
Yeah,
At least he went somewhere, got to a championship game with the Cardinals, so he is still a viable commodity. Where if he'd have stayed in Indianapolis with Luck getting hurt, he may not have been. Right.
He'd be like Jim Caldwell. I mean, Caldwell's a person they'll plug in somewhere because he's got a coaching resume.
Yeah, he went to a Super Bowl once.
He went to Super Bowl, yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, last one here. Dolphins. What are they going to do? I mean, that's
Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan?
Rex Ryan.
Really? He was on the show this morning.
I think Rex Ryan would be a great hire. I think this. I think if you want a guy that'll come in, give you some energy, and make your team, a playoff team or a playoff contender right away, Rex Ryan's the guy. Now, 3-4 years from now, you have to fire him and get somebody in there to get you to the Super Bowl because he's not that good of a coach. But I think he is a guy that can have an immediate impact right away. I think Rex Ryan has been a decent NFL coach in the places he's been. I mean, he had the Jets to 2 AFC championship games, and he did it with Mark Sanchez. Yeah. So I would like to see him get hired just so I don't have to see him on TV anymore.
I'll tell you what, though, I turned on NFL Network this morning. He was on. He was charming. I mean, he stole the show. He was very eloquent in projecting things and talking. I did not think of him as a coach, though. That's really funny. That's a good call, Mike. Anthony,
I don't know if it's a good call. It's just that I think Miami will do because it makes a splash. But in the end, he's dead because Miami, just like Cincinnati, the front office is the problem.
Any shot that the Dolphins try to lure Harbaugh from Michigan because the owner is a Michigan guy, he'll throw money at him.
Yeah, but I don't know if he can throw that much money at him.
And there's also rumors
Harbaugh's doing pretty good in Michigan.
That John Harbaugh, he's not under contract. So John Harbaugh could even be in play.
Well, my question is, if I'm the Ravens, I would be giving him a new contract right now, so that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
With Jim Harbaugh, I think Jim Harbaugh is a really competitive guy. I think he'd like a shot at another Super Bowl. But I think right now, being a really competitive guy, I couldn't imagine any job that would get me to leave Michigan until I've beaten Ohio State.
What about giving him a Gruden type of deal? Would Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, say, listen, we'll give you as much time as Gruden got, we'll give you that type of money?
Well, that gets you...
Because they're rebuilding. There's no more. Tannehill's done. That team needs a complete overhaul. Maybe except for the defense, because they have some good young pieces in their secondary and at linebacker, but that whole offense needs an overhaul.
Yeah,
that whoever goes there needs time.
And I think this. I don't think you need that much time in Miami just because that division's not very good. I mean, the Patriots are starting to slide a little bit, it looks like. And you got to figure 3 years from now, you don't even have to deal with the Patriots anymore, probably.
Right.
Yeah, but then you have two other good young quarterbacks. Josh Allen, he's really been flashing with.
Really?
I like Josh Allen.
On.
I like Josh Allen.
Yeah,
a lot.
other than the fact that he can't read
like
the
him
defense.
a lot.
He's a runner. He's a runner. What's to like about Josh Allen? I mean, he's got. He
made the most of having nothing around him.
Yeah, he ran.
He made plays to win.
He ran. He
Coming
made plays
out,
to win.
Did
I miss something here? The Bills were winning?
I mean, running was giving the Bills the best chance to win.
Yes, but in the long run, it doesn't. And, I mean, I'll look at this. His last 3 games, he threw 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He completed 52% of his passes for the season. The problem with Josh Allen is, even in college, he was under 60% completion. He's not accurate. I don't think he reads defenses well. He's the kind of guy to be successful with him. You give him one read. If that's not there, he runs. I'm sorry, but in the end, you're not going to win in the NFL like that. Sam Darnold, I think, could be good. I think the jury's still out on Sam Darnold. I think the only guy that was drafted this last year that the jury's not out on is Baker Mayfield, because I think Baker Mayfield can play. I watched Baker Mayfield, and the difference between Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen to me is I've never seen Josh Allen go to his 3rd or 4th receiver. I've seen Baker Mayfield do it. And Baker Mayfield runs when he has to run. When you have a quarterback that's running as his first choice, he usually doesn't develop into a quarterback. Because what's going to happen is the coach wants to keep his job, and like Shanahan did with RG3, you just keep letting him run instead of actually telling him to keep his ass in the pocket and develop a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl with. And I think Josh Allen could be a successful regular season quarterback for the next 10 years like Michael Vick was. But in the end, you're never going to win a Super Bowl with him because runners don't win Super Bowls. Just my opinion.
But this is all new. I didn't follow. I don't follow college as much as I should. But Josh Allen wasn't known as a runner in college, was he? I just know he came out as the big arm quarterback and big bodied. I didn't know he was known for his running.
Yeah,
so that kind of took me off guard.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of people don't know this, but Andrew Luck was known for his ability to run in college. And Andrew Luck, his first year or two at Indy, ran a lot more than he did after that first year or two. Correct, Steve?
Yeah, you're right. Yes, yeah. They taught him not to run anymore. Yeah, they coached him on that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But
and the problem is this,
season,
with McDermott,
so, yeah.
I think he's done a good job on getting everybody to play hard for him. But I don't think he is a good enough coach to actually tell the quarterback to stop running. I mean, the thing is this. Russell Wilson runs when he has to. He's always been that way.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
when smarter, though, Mike. You know, it takes 4 or 5 years to be a college freshman quarterback. It takes time to do that.
No, it doesn't. Not for guys that are that good.
Okay.
It doesn't. Russell Wilson was winning a Super Bowl in, his 2nd or 3rd year. So guys that are special.
He's an exception.
No, this is the thing, though. We are looking, when we draft a quarterback, what we're looking for is a guy that is good enough to get us to a Super Bowl, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's not many guys.
You're paying that kind of money.
There's not many guys that, are special quarterbacks right now that it took them 6 or 7 years to be special. It didn't take Aaron Rodgers 7 years to be special. It didn't take Peyton Manning 7 years to be special. It didn't take Drew Brees 5 years to be special. These are guys that are just special. And the thing is this, if I'm drafting a quarterback in the first round, especially the first 10 picks, he has to be special or I'm not picking him. And I think that's where the Buffalo Bills screwed up. Josh Allen's not special. Josh Allen's a guy you say, well, he's going to improve. In 4 or 5 years he'll be good. You don't pick a guy like that with number 8. Not a quarterback. Because if you do, you set your entire team back.
Mike, let me ask you a question. Anthony, answer it too. Does every team have different expectations? So they measure. I mean, like Buffalo probably doesn't have the same expectation as the Dallas does. in my opinion. I just think that Buffalo is a team that maybe hopes they make the playoffs and get to play extra games. Dallas is a team, to me, that expects to win a Super Bowl when they play every year. That's what Jerry Jones, that's the culture he creates. Does that make a difference in what you expect out of your quarterback? I'm just asking. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I think everybody, when they pick a quarterback that high, Anthony, is expecting that quarterback to get them to a Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is the thing. Dak Prescott right now, no matter what Dak Prescott does the rest of his career, it was a good pick. I mean, it was what, the fourth round? You get a fourth-round quarterback. It's like Andy Dalton. People give Andy Dalton shit. But he was a second-round quarterback that took the Bengals to 5 straight playoffs. That's getting value for your pick. And if you're a top 10 pick, you got to go win a Super Bowl to make it worth the other team's while. And to answer your question, Anthony, the 2 years that Josh Allen played at Wyoming, he ran for 800 yards.
Okay.
So it wasn't, he was more likely to throw the ball, but yeah, he could run it a little bit because he ran for 523 senior year.
Okay, we haven't hired any coaches yet, so let me move on. Hot seats. Falcons, Jags, Panthers.
Well, we have some.
I think they're all safe, or they'd have been fired by now, probably.
Are they hot seat spots? Rivera?
We have breaking news from the Falcons. Dan Quinn looks to be safe, but they fired all 3 coordinators. Steve Sarkisian, Keith Armstrong, and Marquand Manuel have all been fired. And I'm hearing Gary Kubiak can be in the mix for offensive coordinator.
He's a good offensive coordinator.
So, Anthony, is that when they do that, Anthony, is that a vote of no confidence? But we're going to keep you, but it's a vote of no confidence. They start firing.
No, that's usually the or the owner coming in and saying, we got to make some changes to make the fans happy.
And Dan Quinn is expected to take over as take over the defense.
That makes sense. He's one of the best defensive coordinators out there.
Rivera. I mean, I saw where he got a vote of confidence from the owners, but is he safe, or is that the job that's going to open up in a couple weeks?
He's safe.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I think out of all the guys you've heard of, usually if you haven't heard about it by now, there may be one surprise later on, but I think you got what you got.
Okay, all right. So we're done with coaching, right?
Yep.
All right, let's run down real quickly awards. MVP, Anthony?
I think the MVP is going to go to Pat Mahomes.
So are we giving who we think will win it or who we think should win it?
Whatever you think.
Well, you're asking the question. Get your shit together.
Who should win it? Who should win it? No, not who's going to win it.
Is that who you think should win it, Anthony?
As I go back and forth between, you can make a case for Andrew Luck, you can make a case for Russell Wilson, Breeze, but Mahomes, I mean, he's just been too good this year. And to end the regular season throwing, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, I don't know. Pat Mahomes, he's just been, I don't have any other words. 50 touchdowns, 52 total touchdowns. That's insane. That's ridiculous.
Mike, who should win it?
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
This is my thing about Patrick Mahomes, though. When you look at his record and what he's done against higher quality teams, against playoff teams this year, he is 2-4. Correct?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know the exact. I'm not Googling.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this, and the playoff teams that they played, they split with the Chargers. They lost to the Patriots. They lost to the Rams.
They lost to Seattle.
They beat the Ravens by 3. They lost to Seattle. My problem with him is this. He is 2-4 against teams with, that are in the playoffs. And if you throw in teams with winning records, he's 3-4. I mean, to me, that's not that impressive. And I got Russell Wilson beat him. Russell Wilson beat Dallas. Russell Wilson, to me, does it with a lot less. And when you look at that, that should matter more than what it does. Now, I don't know. Let's do a fair comparison. Let's see what Russell did against playoff teams. Oh, let's see. Lost to the Bears by a touchdown. Beat the Cowboys by double digits. Lost by 2 to the Rams. Lost by 8 to the Chargers. Lost by 5 to the Rams. So you're going to end up with 2-4 there. But my point is the 2-4, or 3-4. No, the Vikings didn't make it, did they? Yeah. So they got the same record. But in the end, Russell Wilson did beat him. And I still think with Mahomes, I think it's hard to give him the MVP because I don't know how good he is yet. He's played 1 year.
I agree, but this is a passing league and a stats-driven league.
But if you
so
agree,
whether it's right
you're
or wrong,
supposed to give.
That's not the most valuable player. He's the offensive player of the year.
Yeah,
he's the offensive player of the year, not most valuable player. There's
the most valuable player should be the most valuable player.
Valuable player, yeah. And I got to say, from my opinion, it's Luck or Russell Wilson. And I mean, I'm going to be biased and say Luck.
Dude, Luck threw too many interceptions. Too many interceptions.
Right, I get that. But then you're going back to statistics, Mike. We're talking about most valuable player, not offensive player.
Yeah, but this is the thing, Steve.
I'm saying he took
interceptions are a big stat.
I know, but I'm just making my case, and I'm saying I'm going to agree with you. I probably should be Russell Wilson, but Luck is a kid who came in. A guy came back from a 1-4 to 1-5 start and took a team to 10-6 and put them in the playoffs and won huge road wins at Houston and at Tennessee, and orchestrated that team and put them there pretty much. And the Colts are probably a better team than Seattle, top to bottom now, but that's why I would probably go with Russell Wilson. I don't think Breeze or Mahomes, they're the offensive player of the year. Give them that.
I think this. I think with Mahomes and Luck, there's too many turnovers there, especially in the games they lost. And the other thing is this: don't give me that at Tennessee is a big win, because there's nobody in the world that thinks Tennessee Titans are a playoff team.
Okay, well, no, and the Colts proved that last night. You're right. So that's why I said I would go with Russell Wilson. Mike, I agree with you. I would go with Russell Wilson as the MVP, as the most valuable player, offensive player of the year. You got to go with Breeze or Mahomes. They put the numbers on the board, and they did it right. But MVP, I think Russell Wilson would edge Andrew Luck out in terms of MVP. And then you got to look at Saquon Barkley. I mean, you're talking about a guy that just had a monster year as a rookie.
Can't be on a losing team and get it, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's his problem. Yeah, that's his problem. So, okay, comeback player of the year, we all agree on Luck.
Yes.
I heard Deshaun Jackson's name mentioned.
Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, I think I saw some ESPN idiot said that.
Ooh. I wonder why I don't watch ESPN.
Probably James Harris.
Yeah, I know. I looked at the ESPN list the other day. There's some idiot listed Deshaun Jackson's comeback player of the year. And we all agree it's Andrew Luck.
Yeah, it's not close either.
Yeah,
I think it's close. I think J.J. Watt should be in there. I think Deshaun Watson.
Really? See, but do you, Mike? Do you really think J.J. Watt? I mean, obviously, I had a big keen interest in watching what Houston was doing, and we got to see a lot of games on the West Coast from Houston. I didn't think he was that dominant. And maybe because they're two-time and double, triple teaming and talk to me, I thought maybe they're neutralizing because they're putting 2 or 3 guys to guard, and that becomes valuable to the offense.
Really? They really.
Blocking.
I think a case can be made for him to be the defensive player of the year when you look at his stats.
Okay, all right, fair.
Forced 4 fumbles, 3rd in sacks with 9, 4th in tackles for loss with 11, 7th in quarterback hits with 16. I mean, I think, and this is the guy that I think gets underlooked or not looked at enough. I think Adrian Peterson's the guy that should be in this conversation. Dude's almost he's mid-30s, damn near, as a running back, coming back and doing what he did. But yeah, I think
the Redskins would have won half their games without Peterson.
They may not have won any.
Right. All right. Defensive player of the year, Anthony.
Oh, defensive player of the year. I like Derwin James a lot, but he's going to be in a conversation for Rookie of the Year, as is Darius Leonard. Defensive Player of the Year, that's tough. Who do you guys think?
Mike?
Why are you asking me? Why is it you ask the question to him?
I think it's going to be Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack.
No, I don't think
it's one of those two.
I never heard Khalil Mack's name mentioned. I mean, the Bears got tough, but I didn't watch the Bears a lot. I'm on the West Coast. We don't get East Coast football out here. We get the crap. We get the damn West Coast teams. So I got to watch the Chargers and the Rams play all day long, which makes me want to puke. But that's okay.
I would probably give it to Mac. I would probably give it to Mac.
Okay, Mike?
Luke Kuechly. I think he had one of the greatest years the linebackers ever had. And if you watch the game they played against the Saints, where he damn near shut the Saints down all by himself, he gets underrated. His team was terrible. I mean, Aaron Donald will probably win it. But I think Luke Kuechly always gets overlooked.
Yeah, I'd go with Colts linebacker. I mean, I just think
because you're a homer. You've already proven that.
Right. No, I agree. But where they were defensively at the beginning of the season, where they ended up defensively, I think that he just was an impact player that solidified that defense.
Yeah, I say it's hard to put him in the top
right
10.
Now
So wait a second now. So you think that he's better than Luke Kuechly or had a better year than Luke Kuechly?
What did I read? He led the league in tackles or something. Most tackles ever by rookie or something.
Yeah, no, you're not off.
I remember that. He averaged more tackles per game than Kuechly and Willis did en route to Defensive Rookie of the Year honors.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit I'm a big play Ray kind of guy.
No, you're a Colts fan. You're making it painfully obvious right now. Go ahead.
All right, no problem. All right, Offensive Player of the Year.
I don't think there's any difference between that and MVP, to tell you the truth. So I'll give it to.
No, there is. I think there's a huge difference. I think there's a huge difference.
I don't. I mean, shit. Why do I want to be the Offensive Player of the Year if I can't be the MVP?
All right. Well, you don't have a pick. Anthony, Offensive Player of the Year. Anthony, first off, do you think there's a difference between MVP and Offensive Player of the Year?
I think there should be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's voted like that, but I think
Shut
it
up,
should
Mike,
be.
you're an idiot.
Well, all right, Colt boy,
Go ahead.
be quiet.
Who's the Offensive Player of the Year, Anthony? I'm not going to even ask Mike because he has no freaking opinion on anything.
I would probably give it to Todd Gurley for what he's did with the Rams.
What, not playing the last 3 or 4 games? You think that's put him in the mix?
Yeah. All right, you should. Your credibility sank with me there, buddy. I'm sorry.
What?
It's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the Offensive Player of the Year. That guy putting numbers on the board as a young quarterback. What he's able to do with the football is amazing. I mean, yeah, he's the Offensive Player of the Year. Mike, what do you think? I'll give you another chance.
About what?
Offensive Player of the Year.
The Offensive Player of the Year, Andrew Luck.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
No, I'm actually disagreeing with you. Because, see, this is the thing.
Yeah, no,
anything else I would have said, anything else that I would have said to disagree with you, you would have been pissed off. But since I said Andrew Luck, you're like, oh, okay. Actually, my Offensive Player of the Year.
No, I don't. I don't think he was the Offensive Player of the Year.
Todd Gurley.
Okay.
Todd Gurley.
Okay. All right. Coach of the Year.
Huh?
Anthony? Coach of the Year.
What did you say? Oh.
Ooh, Coach of the Year. Sean Payton.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Matt Nagy.
Okay, Mike?
Nagy, no doubt. That was the first place team. I don't even think that's questioned. And my second choice would be Brable, because from watching the Titans last night, they're really not that good. I also like Anthony Lynn. I like Sean Payton. But, I mean, at the start of the year, I thought the Saints would win the Super Bowl. So that kind of changes my vote, too.
I'd have to go with Nagy. I'd have to go with Nagy, too. Although I think Wright needs to get some mention for what he's done with the Colts and turning that team around.
I know you think
and the way he came into the Colts.
Who gets more credit, Reich or Ballard?
Yeah,
Who drafted? Who ran the draft?
I think, I personally think it's right because Ballard
Really?
started with the idiot from New Orleans or New England, and he dumped him, and then he ended up having to go find Wright. So I think, he got damn lucky with Frank Wright. He got damn lucky.
Well, I think Wright got real lucky that Ballard got him Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard in the same draft.
Okay, see, it's a toss-up, right? Yeah.
No, it's not a toss-up because Anthony agrees with me, right, Anthony?
Yeah, I
On what?
have to say
I don't
Ballard.
know.
Yeah, Ballard. Based on what the Colts had as a GM before, Greason, was that his name? Greason. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Another Purdue grad. There you go. It says it all. Surprise team of the year. Anthony, who was the biggest surprise to you this year?
Biggest surprise would probably be the collapse of the Jaguars.
Okay.
That's
fair.
the biggest surprise for me.
Mike, did we all kind of put the Jaguars in the playoffs?
I'm pretty sure I was the one that said that the Jaguars would be last place, and you laughed at me because I also told you I thought the Colts would be a wild card. Okay. I just wanted to get that straight.
You called that right too. I said you're a genius.
I also told you the Bears would win the NFC North, and I think you might have both mocked me on that. I don't know if Anthony was there yet or not. But
so who's the surprise team of the year for you, Mike?
The surprise team of the year to me, the Seattle Seahawks. Because when I did my initial power rankings, I had them like 28th. I thought they had nothing but Russell Wilson. But little did I know, Russell Wilson's enough.
Mike, are you a Pete Carroll fan or not?
I don't like Pete Carroll. He's a cheater.
Okay, Anthony, do you like Pete Carroll?
I do. I have no issue with Pete Carroll.
Like Pete Carroll.
He got the job
He's
because
an
of
NFL
cheating.
coach.
He got
He's
the
a
job
good NFL
because
coach.
he's not. He's got Russell Wilson.
They've done well. Seattle consistently.
Whatever. Next question. This is taking forever. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me see. What was the last one? All right. Let's just move into the playoffs real quick here. Predictions Saturday. Call the games. Anthony, who wins on Saturday? Saturday? Colts are playing Houston on Saturday. Who else is playing on Saturday? I don't have the schedule up
Dallas
right now.
Dallas, Seattle, Saturday night.
Okay, so we got Colts, and Houston, and Dallas, and Seattle. Are those the only two games on Saturday?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, who wins? Anthony?
I think Dallas. I think Dallas will actually win the game. They play a lot better at home, but I do feel no matter who wins between the Cowboys and the Seahawks, the winner of that game will advance to the Super Bowl eventually. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
It's either going to be the Seahawks or the Cowboys.
Okay.
It's going to be the Seahawks or the Cowboys. You laugh now.
Yeah, I am laughing.
And then on the other side, I think the Colts are dangerous, and I think the Colts pull off the upset.
So let me ask you this, Steve. What do you think Anthony should have to sing if the Cowboys don't go to the Super Bowl?
I said the winner of the game. I said it could be Dallas or Seattle.
He's got to sing Hail to the Redskins.
I think you mean Dallas. So I don't even think that Seattle even comes into your sphere on this.
No. If Seattle wins at Dallas, I think they make a run. That team is very dangerous. There's a lot of really good teams in the playoffs.
Dangerous. Yeah.
I think there's
Dallas
a lot
is
of
a
mediocre
team.
teams in the playoffs. I don't know that there's one good team in
Right,
the playoffs.
which makes Dallas very dangerous because they're not mediocre. They're just undercoached.
No, they're mediocre.
talented.
All these teams are mediocre. They're not talented because the offensive line's not that good.
Mike, who wins on Saturday? Who wins on Saturday?
I think Houston beats Indianapolis, and I think Seattle beats Dallas.
I think
But I
I
think they'll both be close games. My question with Dallas is this: I just don't know if they can score enough points because their defense is slightly above average. We see that because they're not consistently really good. Maybe they could come out and see. That's my problem with Dallas going to the Super Bowl. Is I haven't seen the defense be consistently good against good competition. You know, they'll give up 10 to New Orleans, but then they'll give up 30 or 28 to Tennessee. And they'll give up 35 or 36 to the Giants yesterday. I know they were missing some starters, but you shouldn't give up that many points to the Giants. But I think both
Okay,
games will be
Sunday.
close.
What are the Sunday games? Who's playing?
You're
on
the one
Sunday?
asking the questions, and you don't know?
Well, I don't. I'm still looking at. I mean,
Eagles, Bears, and what's going on in the AFC? Eagles, Bears, Baltimore Chargers rematch.
Yeah.
Okay, Eagles, Bears. Anthony.
I like.
Chicago. It's in Chicago.
Yeah, it's going to be in Chicago, and I think the Bears break the Eagles bubble. You know, Foles, he's going to start, but he banged up his ribs, and I think he's going to be a target. And, you know, I think the Ravens, they keep going. I think the Ravens keep going and beat the Chargers again. You know, the Chargers didn't look good yesterday. The Chargers didn't end the regular season on a good note. They should have dominated that game. They should have dominated that game yesterday.
But wait a second. The Cowboys shouldn't have dominated the Giants?
I mean, the Cowboys were playing with missing starters.
Oh, they were playing with missing
Elliott
starters?
didn't even dress.
Oh.
Elliott didn't even dress.
Wow. Okay.
2 or 3 guys in their
Well,
line didn't dress.
2 or
Half
3
their offensive
really?
line didn't dress.
Damn, that's something. And the Chargers dressed everybody?
Hang on. All right, hang on. Let's move on.
They did.
I will make the case that
Chargers
the
did
Denver
dress
Broncos,
everybody.
the Denver Broncos are a better team
Sunday
than the
games,
Giants.
Mike.
Huh?
Sunday games, Mike. Who wins?
Sunday games. Chargers beat the Ravens by 2 touchdowns. What was the other
Is the
game?
game out in L.A.? Is the game out here in L.A.?
No, it's in Baltimore, right?
Every
Yes, in
game is
Baltimore.
on the
Baltimore.
road for the Chargers. It doesn't matter if it's at home or not.
All right.
Yeah,
be
the
going
Chargers win
anyway,
that game
so.
with no problem. All they got to do is see. This is the thing. This is why I know NFL coaching is bad, because Lamar Jackson hasn't been exposed yet. He can't throw the ball. I mean, he's averaging like 100 yards passing a game. When you play him, why do you rush him and blitz him, Anthony?
To make them force turnovers, force him to throw.
How does that make him throw? Because this is the thing, and a lot of fans will say this, but when you play a quarterback that runs, especially one that doesn't throw it accurately, you run a lot of show coverages, you run a lot of zone, and you don't rush him. I would not rush him. I would play a 4-man front. I would create a pocket for him to sit in and throw the ball, and I would make him beat me that way. Why would you let somebody whose main attribute is to run, and what this team wants to do is to run?
That's why you're a coach.
Why would you? Yeah, but this is
That's
the
a hell
thing.
of a point. That's a hell of a point.
I could give it like this. We played Juice Williams. I don't know if you remember him. He played at Illinois, took him to Rose Bowl in 2008. We come out to play him, and Juice Williams wants to run. He don't want to throw. And we're playing him. He's a Chicago Blitz. Steve should have watched this game last night. I gave him a little, But I gave him the YouTube link. But what we did was we didn't even rush him. We just had, it's a 3-man front in indoor football. Our nose tackle, our defensive ends just stood up, put their hands up. He couldn't run, and he had to throw. And it's 45-14 at halftime. By then, we got the game won, and I'm bored. So then we blitzed the crap out of him just because we were trying to hurt him. Because that's what you do when you play defensive football, no matter what anybody tells you. So we gave up a bunch of points in the second half, but we beat them like 74-52. But there's no reason to rush him. You want him to throw the football. I don't understand why everybody is blitzing him.
Yeah, Mike, I would have watched that video. I would have watched that video last night, except that I was, celebrating the Colts, and then I know you sent me the link, and I have the link, but then we had the holiday edition of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I really don't care what you watched or didn't watch, to tell you the truth.
The
whole point is this. The first team that has a coach that has the balls to just sit at the line of scrimmage will beat him by 30 points. It's simple. And if John Harbaugh was smart, he'd start Joe Flacco in this game so he could go to the Super Bowl.
I disagree. And I'll make my picks. I think the Ravens.
You disagree all you want, but you know what? It's kind of like Eli Manning. It doesn't matter what you think about him in the regular season. In the playoffs, he's one of the best.
He's a great quarterback. There is, yeah, exactly.
And Philadelphia, Chicago. I think this. I think Philadelphia's secondary is terrible. I think that's going to cost them. Even against Mitch Trubisky, it's going to cost them. I think that Foles is a hell of a quarterback. But I think this Bears defense over the last few weeks has become, with the Ravens, heads and shoulders the two best defenses in football. Jordan Howard could run the ball. I don't think the Eagles' defense is that good. I think the home field advantage here is too much to overcome. I think the Bears beat them, and I think the Bears end up in the NFC Championship game against the Saints.
I think you're right. I'll say this. It would not surprise me. I don't predict it. It would not surprise me if you see the Ravens and the Bears in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that would surprise me because Lamar Jackson sucks. And until somebody realizes...
But they've got Flacco to go back to.
But they're not going to.
I'm
They're
not
not
predicting
going
it.
to.
I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. Anthony, am I stupid for saying that?
No, you're not too far off at all. I think the Ravens have a legitimate shot to make a run.
But not with Lamar Jackson. You guys don't understand this, but you will learn when he throws 3 picks in the game that knocks him out.
But all you need is Joe Flacco to come in. You don't need him to get you to win 10 games.
Exactly.
You need Joe Flacco to come in and play 2 or 3 games.
What we're
if they went
preparing
to
is this. I already said I thought the Ravens could go to the Super Bowl to play Joe Flacco. But they got to play Joe Flacco. Right now, we can't sit here and say, well, I bet he's going to be playing by the 3rd series, so everything will be all right. Lamar Jackson is not the answer. And it doesn't matter what the question is. But, all right. Stevie, anything else?
Yeah, one last thing I want to address. Here, hang on. I'm looking for the worst of Notre Dame fight song. I'm not actually going to sing this.
Yes, you are.
Oh my God, Victory March.
Yes, you are. Hey, J.J. Watt in Houston wants to know when Risley's going to sing the Notre Dame fight song.
J.J. Watt doesn't know that I exist. There you go. Can you hear it?
I don't need music. I just need you to sing it.
I can't. Not yet. I got one more thing I want to address. I got to put this on pause. Hey, Mike and I had this discussion. Anthony, I want your input on this, too. And I know we're about an hour and 12 minutes into it, but it's a good conversation. We've had a great time. I am disgusted with the fact that star players back out and don't play in the final games based on the fact that the NFL – hang on, let me finish my statement, and you guys can have the field, the floor. Let me just finish my statement because I'm asking the questions, right? I'm disgusted with the fact that people pay out their asses for 16 games, 4 crap preseason games. They play for, and then teams start benching. Ezekiel Elliott didn't play. I know that when I had season tickets to the Colts, there were many times at the end of the year, I'm like, okay, Colts are in the playoffs. I don't really want to go to the last game. It's a pain in the ass. It's an all-day event. It's 70 degrees in Minneapolis. I want to go play golf. I give my tickets to people, and the players don't play, but you still pay to go to the games. What's your guys' take on this?
My take
Mike,
is
I know,
this. If you're a true fan
Mike,
of your team, why do I want to see Andy Dalton play in Week 17 when I know they got a playoff game the next week? That is stupid. So you're not really a fan if you find that offensive. And I can tell you this. If I would have been a Cowboys fan yesterday, I would have been pissed off that Dak Prescott was playing. Because this is the thing. Even if he doesn't get hurt, I'm sure he got hit. I'm sure he's a little bit sore than what he was. And I just don't see the advantage to doing that. Anthony?
Okay, wait. Before Anthony interjects, let me say this, Mike. I became a bigger Cowboys fan yesterday because Dax was playing. Because that team wanted to win that game. They said that winning the game is more important than worrying about what's going to happen in the future.
But it's not.
I became a bigger Cowboys fan when the Cowboys left their starters in and said, we're going to freaking win this game.
Then why didn't they play Elliott if winning was the most important thing?
Well, I'm disappointed they didn't play him.
Why? Because Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best players at his position in the NFL, and Dak Prescott, he needs these games. He can't afford to rest.
He
Dak
doesn't
Prescott cannot afford to rest.
need to play missing 2 or 3 starting offensive linemen. I mean, that's stupid. And the thing is this. He's started well over 30 NFL games in his career. He's played in the playoffs. Why does he need to play in this game? He's still never going to throw anybody open.
I mean, no matter what, Dallas can win the Super Bowl, and Dak Prescott will still get heat.
Well, this is the thing. They can't win the Super Bowl because of Dak Prescott. They might be able to win a playoff game, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. Not until they've got to put a better offensive line in front of him to be able to win the Super Bowl. Because what's going to happen is if you play, I think the worst matchup for the Cowboys right now is the Bears. Because I think the Bears could overrun them, and I think that would force a shitload of turnovers from Prescott. I like Prescott. I think Prescott is better than Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. I'm just saying this. If I draft, and I especially like him because he wasn't a first-round pick. You got some time to develop him. You just need to put better players in front of him on the offensive line. But I think that is the killer for Dallas in the end. I think Mitch Trubisky at quarterback for the Bears is a killer for them. There's not many quarterbacks at that level that win the Super Bowl.
You know, I get the issue with Dak and his turnovers, but in the second half of the year, Cowboys 7-1. Dak only has 5 turnovers, and 3 of those turnovers happened against Philadelphia, a win in Week 14, and then the other turnover, a win over the Saints, and then the 5th against the Colts.
So what you're telling me is his 5 turnovers in the last half of the season
really meant nothing.
Okay, wait a second. His 5 turnovers in the last 8 games, all 5 of them were against the 3 best teams he played against.
Okay, and they won those games. And they
did?
Except the Colts.
They did? They got destroyed by the Colts.
Okay.
And the Eagles game was an even-up game.
That game wasn't on Dak. He had 1 turnover. He turned the ball over 3 times.
All right, wait a second. I've never lived in a world where being shut out didn't have something to do with the quarterback. I don't know what world that is. But when you get shut out and you're the starting quarterback, you could have done something.
Their fullback dropped a touchdown pass that Dak put right there.
Oh, shit. It would have been 23-7 then. I see your point.
But you're saying the shutout.
Oh, if they'd have lost 23-7, I'd have said the same thing. The only thing I see is this. I see this.
1 loss in 8 games.
I see when they played the Colts, he threw for 200 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I don't know on what planet where that's good.
We're off track here, guys. My point is that players sitting in
You're off track, Steve. Me and Anthony are fine.
No, because I'm a fan. I am a fan.
Oh, Jesus.
Right?
If you're a fan of your team, you don't want to lose your players.
I'm a fan.
I hope the Colts and the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. That's what I hope. So everybody's happy on the
I hope that so the Cowboys would have a chance.
Cowboys, yeah. I think it's Colts and Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Right now.
Yeah. I know.
I'll
tell you, that was an impressive performance by both teams. We may not even
let Mike on that show. We may just, we may let him text in and ask questions.
Have fun getting people to listen then. We've done that experiment before too, Steve. So, okay.
It's a tough situation. I remember years ago when the Colts were 13-0, and Dungy benched all his players.
Yeah, but he did it for 2 or 3 games. That's stupid.
Right. Yeah. And
especially when you get a bye week.
But I think that when the NFL demands the kind of money they demand for warm beers, cold pretzels, soft pizza, expensive parking, and you come there, and a lot of times people get tickets, season tickets, people don't go to every game, and people get an opportunity to come to one game and see your hero play, and they wantonly just disregard that and bench players. It shows no regard for the fan base, which it just tells me once again that the NFL.
But you don't think the bigger problem is charging full price for 2 preseason games?
No, that's part of the process. I said that. The 2 home preseason games.
This is the thing. I want my team to win. I want my team to win.
We had this conversation too. You're forced to, like, the people that own cold season tickets are now forced to pony up another $4,000 to $5,000, $6,000 right now to buy playoff tickets when the Colts probably will never play a home playoff game.
I don't think there's anybody forced to do anything.
There's one minuscule chance the Colts could play a home playoff game. I don't know what it is.
No, there is no minuscule chance where the Colts could play a home game.
But I
so there's
guarantee
no
you
Colts
the Colts
fans
sent out a
anything.
bill.
I guarantee you
if you want to keep your season tickets, you have to buy playoff tickets. You have to put down for playoff tickets right now.
Okay.
Or if you want the opportunity to buy Super Bowl tickets.
So what you're saying, if a fan is a dumbass, then it should be the Colts' fault.
No, the NFL is it just, I don't know. Anthony, what do you think? Wrap it up, Anthony. I'm done with this.
Idiot.
I don't know. I'm on the fence because in one case, as a fan, if I'm going to a game and my starting quarterback gets injured and then I have the playoffs to play, then that sucks. But on the other hand, you can buy a ticket to a Week 10 game, and you could be in a situation where there's no A.J. Green or Andy Dalton. So I think it's just luck of the draw. I don't know how to.
Right.
They do it in basketball where they're always resting players. I mean, this is, yes, the fans should be given a break. I just don't know how to give them the break. I mean, you see Arthur Blank in Atlanta. He opened up the new stadium and lowered concession prices. Maybe other owners need to take consideration of the fans in that way. He did. It happened.
It's not going to happen.
Did he do it from the start, or did he do it after they started off real bad this year?
Oh, he did it from the start.
Okay.
He built the new stadium. Arthur Blank built the stadium and pretty much cut concessions in half from the start of the year.
Because you got Mercedes to put the bill for the stadium.
They did.
Well, why can't other organizations follow suit? And that's how you give the fans a break to where, hey, we're not going to see the stars in Week 17, but we're not going to pay out the ass for everything else either.
Yeah. No, it's a tough call. I see both sides of the fence. I'm just saying, as a fan, if I go to a Colts game, I want to see Andrew Luck play quarterback. I want to see Ezekiel Elliott run the football. I don't care if it's first game, last game, whatever. I want to see that. That's why I'm going to the game. Otherwise, I'm sitting watching it on TV and going to Red Zone where they don't even have commercials or whatever. But I see your point too, Mike, that the risk reward by basing the idiot stupid salaries they paid Kirk Cousins to be a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, $84 million, is asinine. And then you got to protect him. You can't afford to have him out. Although you're probably better off when he's out, because he's an idiot quarterback. All right, I'm done.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we
go.
Wait a second.
Cheers,
Wait a second.
cheers for
I got something
Notre
else. Hold
Dame.
on.
Wake up the echoes cheering her name. Send a volley, cheer on high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What through the odds be great or is it small? Oh, Notre Dame will win overall. While her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. On go Notre Dame. I did it. All right, I'm done.
Okay. By the way,
show up, Mike.
Arthur Blank doesn't have $1 in the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, by the way. It's state-owned.
No, of course he doesn't. Mercedes. Isn't that Mercedes-Benz
Mercedes.
Stadium?
Mercedes just bought the naming
rights. Is that New Orleans?
They just bought the naming
well, they're
rights.
paying
That's
out
all
the
it
ass
is.
to do that.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
This is what we got. Tomorrow, you can listen.
Now I'm getting hate mail for singing.
To
God,
the
I got 4 emails right now about my singing.
To our New Year's Day show, which will be the top 10 sports stories of the year. Now, if you want a secret, if you're listening live right now, you can hear that show in an hour before anybody else can at 2:30 live on thegruelingtruth.net, where we welcome in Steve's little Canadian buddy, Lucas Weiss, who has the IQ of a thimble, so he's slightly smarter than Steve, so you'll want to make sure you listen in then.
He's a lot smarter than me.
Tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time on thegruelingtruth.net, you can listen live as I'll have former junior welterweight champion of the world, Gene Mad Dog Hatcher, on. He was the junior welterweight champion 1984 and 1985. So make sure you check us out there. And Anthony, do you have any final words before the next time we talk to you will be after the Cowboys have lost to Russell Wilson?
No, just excited for the playoffs, and everybody have a good New Year.
All right, Steve. Any final words?
I'm excited. Yeah, I do. Colts, Cowboys, Big C, Super Bowl, and I think we're just going to just have fun with you. I think they're both going to be there.
Yeah. Nobody's ever had fun with me, Steve. All right, guys, we're going to wrap the show up. We want to remind you to follow us at The Grueling Truth, at Grueling Truth. We thank you for all your tweets today because I would have forgot all about Steve Risley singing a Notre Dame fight song.
I did it.
And you can hear all of our shows on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Anthony Cervino, who you can hear on the FF Face-Off on thegruelingtruth.net, what?
I just got to know from iTunes, I'm trending to number 10. Right now, my song is trending to number 10 on iTunes Daily Hits.
Sure it is.
They've already recorded it. I'm getting royalties.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
All right. So for Anthony Cervino of the FF Face-Off, Steve Risley of a lonely couch in Los Angeles, this is Mike Goodpaster from the Trailer Park live saying you've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.